Hey everyone, what's going on? It's your boy Claude here, and today we're going to be talking about something that I know a lot of you guys out there are really curious about, the subtle signs and body language cues that show when a woman is attracted to you. Now look, I get it, navigating the dating world and trying to figure out if that cute girl you've been chatting with is actually into you can be a real minefield, am I right? There's so much uncertainty, so many mixed signals, and it can be really tough to know what's really going on beneath the surface. But the good news is, there are certain body language patterns and subtle behaviors that can give you a pretty clear indication of whether or not she's feeling that spark of attraction. And today, I'm going to break down the 5 most common and reliable signs to look out for. By the end of this video, you're going to have a much better understanding of how to read the signs and know when a woman is truly interested in you. So let's jump right in, shall we? The first body language sign to watch for is 1. Eye contact. One of the most telltale indicators of attraction is prolonged, intense eye contact. When a woman is into you, she's going to make more eye contact, and hold that gaze for longer periods of time, compared to how she interacts with other people. Think about it, our eyes are the windows to the soul, right? And when we're attracted to someone, we just can't help but be drawn to their eyes. We want to lock eyes, to make that deep, intimate connection. Now, this doesn't mean that she has to be staring you down the entire time you're talking. In fact, too much unbroken eye contact can come across as a bit intense or even uncomfortable. What you're looking for is a pattern of her frequently glancing back at you, maintaining eye contact for 3 to 5 seconds at a time, and really seeming to focus in on you when you're speaking. The key is that the eye contact feels deliberate and significant, rather than just casual glances. If she's turning her body towards you, tilting her head, and making that deep, lingering eye contact, that's a great sign that she's attracted and engaged. Alright, moving on to the second body language indicator. 2. Mirroring. Another really common sign of attraction is mirroring, when a woman subtly mimics or mirrors your body language and mannerisms. This is something that happens subconsciously when we really click with someone. It's our way of expressing that we're in sync, that we're on the same wavelength. And it's a behavior that's especially prevalent when there's a romantic or sexual spark present. So what might this look like in practice? Well, if you notice that she's starting to subtly match your posture, your hand gestures, or even the way you tilt your head, that's a strong sign that she's digging you. She's essentially saying, I'm on the same page as you, I'm engaged with what you're saying, and I want to be in sync with you. And it's not just body language, either. You might also notice mirroring in terms of her vocal tone, speech patterns, and even her facial expressions. If she seems to be subtly imitating the way you talk, laugh, or even the little micro-expressions you make, that's another telltale sign of attraction. Now, the key is that this mirroring has to be subtle and natural-looking. If it feels overly forced or exaggerated, it's probably not an authentic display of attraction. But when it's done in a fluid, unconscious way, it's a really reliable indicator that she's into you. Alright, let's move on to the third body language sign to watch for. 3. Preening and grooming. When a woman is attracted to you, she's going to start putting in a little extra effort to look her best when you're around. This can manifest in a few different ways, like subtle preening and grooming behaviors. For example, you might notice her playing with her hair, twirling a lock around her finger, or gently brushing it back over her shoulder. Or she might start subtly adjusting her clothing, smoothing down her shirt or skirt, or positioning herself in a way that shows off her figure. The reason for this is that when we're attracted to someone, we naturally want to look our most attractive and put together in their presence. It's an unconscious attempt to catch their eye and maximize our appeal. And it's not just about the physical appearance, either. You might also notice her engaging in little self-grooming behaviors, like applying lip gloss, reapplying her makeup, or freshening up her perfume. Again, it's all about looking and feeling her best for you. Now, the key here is that these preening behaviors have to feel natural and unforced. If she's constantly fiddling with her hair or adjusting her clothes in an overly self-conscious way, that might not necessarily be a sign of attraction. But if it's more subtle and she seems to be doing it subconsciously, that's a good indicator that she's into you. Alright, moving on to the fourth body language sign. 4. Playful touching. When a woman is attracted to you, she's going to be a lot more inclined to engage in playful, flirtatious touching. And I'm not talking about anything too overt or inappropriate here, we're not going straight for the steamy make-out session. I'm talking about the little casual, light-hearted touches that happen naturally in the course of conversation. Maybe she places her hand on your arm when she's laughing at one of your jokes. Or she brushes up against you as the two of you are walking side by side. Or she playfully pokes you in the ribs when you tease her. These little moments of physical contact are her way of expressing that she's comfortable with you, that she enjoys your company, and that there's a budding sexual tension between you. And the key here is that the touching has to feel organic and natural. If it seems forced or awkward, then it's probably not a genuine display of attraction. But when it's playful, light-hearted, and feels like a natural extension of the conversation, that's a strong sign that she's into you. Now, the final body language sign to watch for is 5. Open body language. The last sign of attraction we're going to cover today is open, approachable body language. When a woman is interested in you, she's going to use body language that conveys warmth, friendliness, and receptiveness. This might look like her facing you directly, with her shoulders and torso turned towards you. Or maybe her legs are uncrossed and her feet are pointed in your direction, which is a subconscious way of saying, I'm open and available. You might also notice her leaning in slightly as you talk, creating a sense of intimacy and engagement. Contrast this with closed-off body language, where she might be facing away from you, crossing her arms over her chest, or keeping her legs tightly crossed. That kind of guarded, closed-off posture is usually a sign that she's not particularly interested or comfortable. But when her body language is open, relaxed, and oriented towards you, that's a great indicator that she's enjoying your company and is receptive to further interaction. She's creating that sense of openness and approachability, inviting you to lean in and continue the conversation. So those are the 5 key body language signs to watch for if you want to know when a woman is attracted to you. Of course, it's important to remember that these are just general guidelines. Every person and every situation is going to be a little bit different. And it's always crucial to read the full context of the interaction, rather than just relying on a single behavioral cue. The bottom line is, by becoming more attuned to these subtle body language patterns, you'll be able to much more accurately gauge a woman's level of interest and attraction. And that's going to give you a serious leg up in the dating game, my friends. Now, I know this can all feel a little bit tricky to pick up on in the moment. That's why I always recommend practicing. Pay close attention to the body language of the women you interact with, and start noticing these patterns for yourself. Over time, it'll become second nature. And remember, the most important thing is to stay respectful and in tune with the other person's comfort levels. Don't try to force anything or make assumptions. Just let these body language cues guide you, and proceed slowly and cautiously. Building authentic connections is what it's all about. Alright, I think that about does it for today's lesson on the 5 body language signs of attraction. I hope you found this helpful and insightful. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more tips and advice. And let me know down in the comments, what other dating and relationship topics would you like me to cover in the future? Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll catch you in the next one.